Welcome back to my channel. Ooh, I am your favorite mother of three, Bougie Vintage, and today's video is Facing the Facts. Or is it Face the Facts? Girl, I haven't filmed in so long I forgot the title. It's Face the Facts, aka Botox, where I give your life a lift and I help you realize some things. Let's get right on into it. So this first email is titled, Should I Try to Fix This? I have a feel by the end of this, I'm gonna say no, but we're gonna see. Okay, so first I wanna say how much I love you and your channel. I've been watching you since high school. I'm 23 now, and I consider you a big sister. Oh, I love you too, and I'm happily your big sister. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this short as possible. My problem is with my mom. Oh my God. For context, my dad died when I was a baby, and when my mom was pregnant with my younger brother, it was just me, my mom, and my two brothers growing up, and we lived far away from any of our family. But basically, my mom has never been emotionally there for us. Relatable, but not with my mom, obviously my father. She pretty much slept all day when we were kids. She got Social Security since my dad died, so she didn't really work. Oh, Lord have mercy. I saw her every day, but she was barely around. I was responsible for my brothers and cooking all of the meals every day since I was 8. No. No, ma'am. She was in a deep depression for most of my life, so she didn't do a lot. Growing up, I've tried to talk to her about how we grew up, but she acts like everything was perfectly normal. She also refuses to get the help we all know she needs. One thing I have learned is that people, they don't want help. And when people don't want help for themselves, you cannot get them to get the help. I've tried it with many different people. I've encouraged it with many different people. Baby, when they don't want to help, people like their own misery and they want people to stay in it with them. And that's not our jobs, to stay in people's misery with them. We give them the tools and resources they need to get out of their misery, and that's all we can do. If you offer them those tools and they decide that they don't want to use them, then you just leave them where they're at. Honestly, we have always had our issues. I've never felt much love from her, but now our relationship has gotten really bad since I moved in with my fiance. Part of it is because I'm marrying a woman. My mom is very homophobic, but the issue is really because I'm no longer there to take care of her and be her sole emotional support. See, I don't really get why parents can't just like leave their own opinions out of their children's business, okay? I feel like the generation that birthed us and the generation before them, a lot of things were really obviously taboo. And even if they grew up thinking that homosexuality is a sin and being gay is not okay and all these things, based on how the world is today, I think it's so important to kind of adjust. And even though you may not agree, you still can be respectful. Obviously, if your mother says she don't want that in her house, I don't freaking know. Cause that's exactly what they be saying. Don't bring that gay shit over here, okay? Like, I don't know. So like, if that's how she feels, I mean, the same way you would want her to respect your space, you have to respect her space. But as a mother, I feel like it's her job to love you unconditionally. But because she already struggles in that department, I think the added struggle of loving her child, who she is now seeing as inappropriate, like I don't even know what word to use here, is just another level or another excuse really as to why she feels justified in her behavior. Y'all just heard the call with my father, okay? This email was sent to me long before that. This email was sent to me on August 10th. Like, some of these people just don't have the capacity to love, and we have to understand that. When I moved out, she talked so bad about me to the entire family. But we were splitting the rent equally, and I've been helping her pay it since I moved out. See, don't overextend yourself, girl, because these people don't appreciate it. She didn't talk to me for 3 months when I moved, and I was giving her $400 every month because my vanity was still there. It doesn't fit in our small 1-bedroom. But now it's almost a year later, and my mom decided out of the blue to break her lease. So she called me and cursed me out about coming to get my stuff. Our original agreement was as long as I paid her, she'd keep my vanity until her lease was up in September, and I'd have time to get a storage unit for it. She only gave me 3 weeks notice about her moving. Well, how she managed to do that? She needs 60 days at least. I finally came to get majority of my stuff about 2 weeks ago, and I told her I was coming back to get my vanity in a few days. I needed a truck because I have a large 13 drawer unit impressions vanity. I know that's right with the impressions vanity. So I can't just fit it in a car. Yeah, mine don't fit in the car either. I think mine might fit in my truck if the seats are folded down, but that's neither here nor there. But when I got home, she told me she'll keep my vanity in her new place until me and my fiance get a bigger apartment. Keep in mind, she offered. I never asked her to keep it. I was never expecting her to keep my stuff. So now, just yesterday, she calls me cursing me out again, asking me why I didn't take the vanity with me, like she forgot about our agreement. She kept saying she shouldn't have to take it. She literally has a storage unit at the new place. She doesn't even have to bring it in the house. But again, I never asked her to take it. So basically, I told her since she's acting like it, she can just go ahead and throw it away. Unacceptable! I'm not throwing away no impressions vanity, girl. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. No. So basically, I told her I don't want any more conversations unless we're talking about my stuff, and I blocked her. I didn't even say anything about her taking my part of the rent and putting it towards the deposit on her new place. Ooh! My mom has caused me so much dysfunction and uncertainty in my life, and I'm just sick of being treated like she hates me. My brother told me after I blocked her, she sent me a text saying I have 30 days to get my stuff or she's gonna give it to his girlfriend. My mom knew I had plans this month. My fiance's birthday is in a week, and she knew that she has no regard for anyone else. She can't even remember my fiance's birthday. Their move-in date is that day, and she expected me and my fiance to help. Even after talking mess about the both of us to my brother and his girlfriend. So now I'm done. I'm just over her trying to bully and mess with me when I've been more than accommodating for her. This isn't even a fraction of what I have to go through. I could literally go on and on, but my question is really, do you think I'm wrong for cutting her out of my life? Girl, you know me, baby. I will cut anybody and anything out of my life, okay? If you are not serving me, you are getting cut out and cut off forever, okay? The old me didn't have the right boundaries in place. I'm not gonna say I didn't have boundaries, but the old me was adjustable and flexible in her boundaries. The new me is not, and I have zero tolerance, zero, for anything that is not in alignment with my life, for anyone that is not in alignment with my life, and also for people that clearly don't have boundaries, because people that have boundaries won't try to cross yours. That's number one. I don't have time to fool with anybody that doesn't have boundaries set, because they will, for sure, try to cross yours. So no, I don't think you're wrong for cutting her out. I cut my father out. If you're toxic, you got to go. Because toxicity spreads, okay? It's giving peanut butter. It's nasty. Do you think I should have handled the situation differently? Well, I mean, yes, because I wouldn't have thrown out the vanity. I would have told her to throw it out. I would have found a way to get it where I needed to get it, however fast I could get it there. But I understand your frustration. I understand being in that position where because you don't even want to deal with them, you rather just get rid of it and get a new one. I've been there, you know, been there, done that. She's the only parent I have, and I don't want to spend every moment arguing, but I'm just trying to create healthy boundaries and protect my peace. Well, there you go, boundaries. I don't even think I'll invite her to my wedding. Well, if you know she's not really in support of the relationship, there is no need for her to be there, girl. People will come to your wedding and be doing a little witch chant under their breath while you're saying your vows to make sure your relationship don't work. Jesus. However, on the topic of you dating or your fiance and your fiance being a woman, I wanted to touch on the fact that you may want to have peace and healing happen before you actually walk down the aisle, because your fiance could seem like the complete opposite of your mom and end up being just like her. I'm realizing now that when you know you have trauma and it's not necessarily unresolved, but there's still a lot of healing to be done, and you enter into a relationship or you find yourself married and certain things have not been fixed and there's not been understanding there, sometimes you get surprised later on. And I'm not saying that that's your fiance, but I'm just saying to be mindful of that and really check the boxes. Like really just do some self-reflecting and see if there's at any given time, even if it's the tiniest thing, that your fiance has even reminded you slightly of your mom. Whether it's in an argument, in a happy moment, whatever it is, just do some reflecting before you take that leap, just to make sure that you don't end up in a relationship with your mother, because that's generally what happens. We end up marrying our parent, And usually that happens whether the parent is good or bad. And it's unavoidable sometimes, especially if there's unresolved and unhealed trauma there. When I was watching the video back from talking on the phone with my father, like most of you in the comment section, it was very triggering, but not in the sense where I don't know how to explain it, but pretty much when I'm listening to my father and I speak and my temperament versus his temperament, it was a mirror of myself and my ex when we would have any kind of conflict, and I would be trying to speak and they would be gaslighting me or talking over me or just doing things to make the conversation go however they want it to go and disregarding what I'm saying and invalidating my feelings. And so I spent a lot of time focusing on the wrong things in my ex that were not like my father. There was just one thing actually that I would focus on, which was the job thing, because I was so traumatized of having a man that was not working. I said, not gonna be me. But then, you know, it kind of just took over. And so all the other things that were exactly like my father, I overlooked them because I was just like, well, my dad didn't have no job, child. He was jobless. Okay, whatless. And so I was so focused on that I wasn't seeing that his communication style was exactly like my father's, which is why I don't talk to my father. So, or I hadn't been talking to my father for the longest time. And so, girl, it was a tough pill for me to swallow once I started therapy and started like really like digging deep and realizing I tried to run so far from that man. I ran right into him and didn't even know it until it was too late. But that's another video for another day, girl. Let's move on to this next email. Ooh, girl. Oh, this is kind of long now. And she said, the title is My Ex-Narcissist with the Power Wheel. Hi, Bo. Love your channel. Been watching you since I was in middle school. I'm 20. Unfortunately, I'm trying to heal from a narcissistic ex that turned physically abusive over time. Unfortunately, he still reaches out even though he is blocked. Problematic. Those are the types that you see on forensic files. So, he should not know where you live. I don't want to take long, so let's just say he's 34. Oh God, not the 14-year age gap. These men are trifling. I went no contact on him July 30th, and I'm still very traumatized by all the verbal abuse that eventually led to physical abuse. I met him at my old job, and we worked together. This dates back to October 2022. I found him attractive and he found me attractive. Eventually, we were going to be friends with benefits. As he told me he didn't want a relationship, which I really didn't care. He then started talking about himself a lot. I began to feel pity for him as he had a lot of bad past history. They all are using the same playbook. They're all using the same damn playbook. I am tired. I'm tired. So if you're an empath, which I don't identify myself as an empath, but I think I still have a lot of empathetic, emphasis on pathetic. No, I'm just joking. A lot of empathy and things that, you know, I think they tell you these things to see how much they're going to get away with. And if they tell you these things and you say to them, oh my God, that's horrible. I'm so sorry you went through that. You know, you didn't deserve that. When you validate their feelings, they got you hook, line, and sinker. I would never validate another man's feelings ever again. I'm just joking. But literally, they start off with that. They give you their history right up. This is the only, oh my God, I'm gagging today. This is the one and only time you will get one vulnerability from a high narcissist. That is too much, Jeff. So as I was saying, the only time you're gonna get truth and fake vulnerability out of a narcissistic person is when they're trying to garner sympathy, empathy, and when they're trying to rope you in. So it's generally in the very beginning of the relationship where they will open up and tell you all the bad things that have happened to them. And this is a red flag. If somebody's just telling you a whole bunch of bad stuff, it might sprinkle in one good thing, but like if they just tell you a whole bunch of bad stuff that happened to them and they're actively looking for you to share in their anguish, like they want that sympathy from you, it's definitely a red flag, because it's like they want to know that they can control you with your emotions. If they know that you are somebody that if they know that they can play on your emotions, they will, to get whatever it is they want to get from you. And I've experienced that with a lot of different people. But like I said, I don't really see myself as an empath. Though I don't regard myself as an empath, I want to say ignorantly, been empathetic towards people, and then it gets used against me. Like your kindness kind of gets used against you, or it gets taken as a weakness. And that's pretty much what she's gonna detail here. Oh, look at her. She said, little did I know this time this was a red flag. He continued, and as I started to tell him daily, I'm sorry that happened, but I want this relationship to be healthy. About 2 weeks in, he started to say, I love you. And that's the other thing. I definitely was not the first to say I love you in my last relationship, because I don't be telling people that, okay? I would, first of all, just like no hoe ain't never gonna see me sweat. Ain't no man getting no I love you from me first. Absolutely not.
No, ma'am.
No, will not happen. And 2 weeks in is wild, okay? Like, that's wild. If somebody starts love bombing you and telling you they love you and how much they're gonna do for you and all these things and treat you good, I would like to see it. Do it from the sidewalk, okay? I'm gonna watch you do it and then let you close if I feel safe. But just try to do it from the sidewalk. Don't be trying to tell me you're gonna do all these great things. You're not about to love bomb me. You're not gonna do it. I just felt it was too early. She said this was a red flag. However, it just got worse when I didn't say I loved him back. Because he wants to be able to make sure if you love somebody, you will go to extreme lengths for them. And that's what these people are looking for. Vulnerable people, and also controllable and moldable people, which is why there's such a big age gap. A narcissistic man, especially one in his 30s, is going to look for somebody that is either same age as stupid or young and dumb, or what he perceives to be young and dumb. It got worse. Every month, arguing with me every day about why I didn't pick up his calls in the morning. And so one day I told him I need space, and he went off on me. Once again, I didn't want to get too deep, but the relationship got so bad that he ended up calling me a bitch and a hoe for no reason because I didn't want to give him head one night.
I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't got nothing to say.
I'm tired, girl. I'm about to skip to the bottom of this email. I told him I don't want to do anything if I feel the energy is off. This is when I started to see he was abusive, controlling. I thought telling him about himself and the healthy communication I tried to assert. There is no healthy communication with a narcissist. There is none, okay? Reference the video, please. There is none. They don't do communication. They don't do healthy. Okay, so healthy communication is just not gonna happen. It's not a thing. Let's fast forward. Arguing continued every day to the point where I would not sleep sometimes. I'd always find a problem. He didn't have a car. Ooh, child. Still lives with a roommate. Not at your big 34, child. He wanted me to drive him around, Jody, everywhere, and get him food. Ooh, he can't even feed himself. Girl, I'm about to read 2 more lines and skip to the bottom of the email because I need to know what you want. And if I didn't get him food and drive him everywhere he wanted, I got called out my name or got stonewalled quickly. It drained me because I was trying to help, but I figured out after a few months, he's choosing to be this way. I started to get really mean towards him because I knew I would try to be the best I could be, but he just wouldn't stop. After hearing that he had hit his ex-baby mom one time for cheating, then he left, he told me he'd never put his hands on me. Well, that all became a lie last month. Ciao.
I don't want to hear this mess.
I had a work trip and wanted him to go with me. I had to use my mom's car because mine was messed up. I'm going to fast forward to the second day we were there. I wouldn't take him to the liquor store and he decided to leave the hotel and walk there himself. The GPS kept messing him up, but the liquor store was literally a 2-minute walk. As he walked, he got lost as he's not from the area. He began to threaten me and call me a bitch and beau for not taking him to that store and threatened, and a hoe, not a, and a beau, child. You is not about to call nobody no beau. Okay, he began to threaten me and call me a bitch and a hoe for not taking him to the store and threatened to damage my mom's vehicle. I was on the phone with my cousin and she was getting upset I had brought his stupid butt down there. Girl, I'm upset too. I'm perplexed why you wanted this man to go with you anywhere but to jail. Like, what is going on? Long story short, he didn't get his way. I told him to get in the car and I was still on the phone with my cousin. We laughed. He got out and took the cap off of my mom's car. I'm sorry, I had to cut the camera off because what the hell are you emailing me? I had to cut the camera off for a second. What is going on? I told him to give me the cap. He did, but then he grabbed my neck and ripped an AirPod out of my ear when I was on the phone with my cousin. She got upset at one point. I stopped answering the phone because things were getting heated. I punched him, slapped him, ripped his shirt, and told him not to touch me again. He grabbed my neck and told me that he bought those AirPods, but I can't take him to the liquor store. That was my second to last straw. Not your last? We went back to the hotel after he calmed down because I felt like crap and I was tired. I told him not to touch me and he started crying and begging for my attention because he knew he was wrong. Then he said I punched him first. BS. The next morning, I woke him up, but I didn't want him to talk to me. He called me selfish again. Ooh, selfish was somebody's favorite word, child. Please. A bitch. And that he wanted to break up because he couldn't get his way. Okay, so bye. Like, I can't. I have, like I said, zero tolerance. Okay? Eventually, he ended up trapping me from getting to work and ending up putting his hands on me again because I threatened to leave him in the city I was working in. He then told me I brought him there, I'm taking him home, and wouldn't let me go to work. So as he calmed down, because he knew he was being a dick, I was angry. I ended up punching him and slapping him with my purse. Almost ripped his shirt again. I was over it. Then he punched me in my neck and pinned me down again. I clawed him and sprained his finger. After things calmed down, I was late to work and had to leave early to make my way back home. He cried and felt so guilty. He told me that he doesn't think we should break up. They always say that, child. I can't. On my way back home, he was hitting me in the car and tried to jump out the car to kill him. I'm sorry. I can't take the dramatics. I can't. And I won't. He tries to jump out of the moving vehicle. Is this, are you trolling me? Is this a comedy sketch? Girl. Because I wanted to break up with him. I ended up taking him home and told him to stay away from me and my family because a restraining order will be in place. He's been finding ways to contact me even though he's blocked. I'm healing, but thank you for sharing your story on YouTube and thank you for bringing awareness to these situations because I don't ever want to be in a situation like that again. And I choose my sanity over this. Well, thank you for sharing, okay? Because this type of person will get you into problems. Like, you see how you were hitting him? These guys are the type to be abusive, call the police on you to make it look like you were the person that was causing the problems. But then when the police pulled a report, child, it's giving he's done this before. He's been in trouble before. And this is why it's so important to press those charges against whoever puts their hands on you or threatens you or does whatever. It's so important to leave that trail so that when the next person gets to encounter them, there's a history there and it can be backed up. Because there's so many women and people in general that do not say anything because they're scared. They're scared to call the police. Call them. Call them. Leave that trail. Leave the trail. Okay? Leave the trail. As a woman, especially if you have kids, if you don't have kids, whatever the case may be, call. Okay? Call. Because that man is insane. All he's gonna do as a narcissist is latch onto another person immediately, give the whole I love you spiel, whatever. They fall for it. He's gonna look for somebody even more vulnerable and what he deems as stupid or dumb, naive than you were. But it seems like he realized very early on that you weren't gonna be the one that he gets away with anything. And I'm so proud of you for defending yourself. Even though there was some times in the story I was like, what the hell? But like, I'm so proud of you for defending yourself and putting your foot down and getting a restraining order. All those things are so important and major. I think whenever you get out of a situation as intense as that, even if it's not as intense as that, you do a little bit of self-reflecting and think of past relationships, think of your parental relationships, think of all the relationships you've had and which relationship has been most similar to that relationship that you just got out of, if any. And if there are similarities there, Think about how you were in the first scenario and how you are now, that you've gotten out of the second scenario, and draw those comparisons. And then going forward, once you catch the red flag, wave it and run like hell. Because if they can't rope you in with their first encounter, they generally don't try to get away with anything, because you have boundaries up that they can't cross immediately. He was able to cross boundaries early on, so he knew going forward he would be able to get away with a little bit more. And then it's a little bit more, and it's a little bit more, and before you know it, your eye is blacked. So kudos to you. And I'm glad that you're out of that situation. Okay, no subject. She said she getting straight to the point, girl. It's giving 4 scrolls. I don't know. I met Mike exactly a year ago today through a mutual friend, Drea. We hit it off and decided to spend some time together outside of the friend group. He invited me over to his house, and of course I went. We didn't talk much. LMFAO, he talked my panties right off. Okay. To my first impression, I assumed this was one of those hit it once and leave kind of situations. I stopped talking to him. The next day, he reached out asking why I became so distant, and I vocalized that I thought we were just sexual partners. He reassured me that he wanted to be with me and he sees us growing together. These niggas always want to grow. It's giving, I want to be a plant. I don't want to grow with nobody. Come grown. Come grown. Can you see how traumatized I am? I'm gone. Oh my gosh. I agreed, and we jumped from getting to know one another to full-blown relationship. Damn near married without a ring. No comment. Some nights, I noticed a number, the same contact frequently calling. He always ignored it. So I asked him, who's that? And he said his crazy ex-girlfriend, who's 8 years older, 30, with 2 children. He's 21 and I'm 20, and I'm not gonna lie, I was slowly getting turned off by this man, but he had a way with his words. Oh, don't they all? They are all dirty John, okay? Very much giving that. Being that we were both Haitians, oh girl, you know better than to mess with these island men. Please. We fell for each other real quick and real bad. Okay, Carisha. If you know, you know. I asked if they were his children and if the woman, Lauren, was going to be a problem. And he said no. Now, Miss Lady, you saw she was calling. She was already a problem. What are you asking him? You decide if she's going to be a problem or not. You don't ask no man if she's going to be a problem, okay? Please. By then, I had moved from my mother's home to Mike's with him and his mom. Wait. I feel like we just jumped into a completely different space-time continuum. What is going on? Most of my family had just moved out of state, and being with Mike filled that void. His mom was kind to me, but they shared a very rocky relationship. Ooh, red flag. It was on and off. Ooh, red flag, girl. On and off. He'd stay away from home for days, shut her out when she spoke, yelling and getting really angry with his mother. Oh, this sounds a little familiar. At this time, to my understanding, he said he's lashing out because she has not only caused him emotional, but mentally scarred him. I stood up to him about her until she began to harass me about her son. Whatever he didn't do right to her, she'd be very rude, bitter, and salty about it towards me. Oh God. I ignored even more red flags. One day, I left my boyfriend's place to get some food at the town's favorite while he mowed his mother's lawn. While I was in the drive-thru, a woman pranced to my little Nissan and tried to open the door. I instantly locked it and just watched her for a second. I was lost, but then when she started screaming at my car about her man, of course, it's Mike. I then followed your car to the drive-thru. This is ghetto as hell, please. Lauren stated all sorts of shit that should have made me take my ass home. But did I know any better? Nope. I followed Lauren out the drive-thru and back to Mike's house. I'm blowing his line up to warn him that this expletive had straight pressured, but this nigga ain't hear nothing. By the time I got there, she's chasing him in a circle around their yard.
Are you not ashamed of yourself?
He made sure he got her on camera. I need to see the footage. Please, I hope there's footage at the bottom of this email. We will be inserting. She stabbed his tire, salted his gas tank, and keyed the body of his car. She even went to the limits of throwing a massive rock at this man, and I lost it. I ended up fighting, and she snatched his chain. Girl, why are you emailing me this hot ghetto mess? We are healed on this channel, okay? This is just messy. We called the police finally after his mother begged him to. I was a witness and I was told to write a statement, and I did, which later turns to be a slap in the face. Lauren takes this case to trial. What's she gonna do? Crime of passion? What is this? That exact day, he lost his job, his truck, and his dignity. I watched him crack slowly on a day-to-day basis. So are the kids his or not? Like, shouldn't she be charged with something? Because if he only 21 and she 30, I'm like I'm concerned. And I'm concerned. I was taking him to court and covering all expenses. From food, gas, to ganja. On top of that, I had to upkeep the lifestyle I was living prior to meeting this man. He was very hardworking. He always worked 2 jobs and gives out a lot, but this was becoming pricey. He loved spending days in bed, but I worked from home doing makeup and hair, but I could never make it to any appointments, which equals no profit, loss of clientele, and no revenue. It was just L's after L's. I'd spend weeks, days, and hours listening to his sad stories, encouraging him, cooking for him, supporting and uplifting him as the man I wanted for the rest of my life. Have y'all learned nothing from me? I have poured so much into this channel and told you all of my tea for you to bring me this tomfoolery? Oh, girl, please. To be fair, we were probably living these moments simultaneously, so let's just keep reading. He made me feel beautiful. No man that's taking money from me is gonna make me feel beautiful. He's just not. I feel ugly. Treated me like a princess. I'll just want to get treated like a princess with a broke man. No! But at the end of every night, I was never doing enough for Mike. Oh, this is triggering. Let me not forget to mention the sex had me in a chokehold. Talk about being slutted out.
What's going on?
So good, I got pregnant.
Damn.
I feel like you guys are just writing stories to me now. Like, please. We found out early and automatically I wanted to keep it. He told me that we weren't ready and that I should let him handle things. He performing abortions now? What do you mean let him handle things, please? I went through my entire pregnancy stressed out, frustrated, and feeling hopeless. If a man tells you at the beginning of the damn pregnancy to get rid of the baby, please understand he's likely not gonna be there. Just saying, okay? At least you were forewarned, okay? That's way better than, well. I went through my entire pregnancy stressed out and feeling hopeless. He was barely around. He'd take my car and disappear for days. It's giving crack. Is he on crack? Who disappears for days? But he made sure to manipulate me so no one else could have me. I was brainwashed for months. Then came the fear of being a single mother. Long story short, I miscarried due to stress and preeclampsia. Oh, I'm sorry that you miscarried, but I will say sometimes what feels like a curse is often a blessing. Because I'm telling you right now, you didn't want to have that baby before this man. I'm telling you right now. I would have had a baby boy by the name of Sincere. He was the most handsome little boy I'd ever seen. I never felt a love so powerful. If only I got to hold him once more. My heart still aches to this day. My son gave me a drive. I worked 9 to 2 a.m. every single day. Felt swelling, tired, hungry, sleepy, grumpy, weak. No matter what, I got up. I had to move back to my mom's by then. Come to find out, he's still sleeping with Lauren, and this was the first time. He took her and her children to the fair and came to lay with me when they got into arguments. Disrespecting my body while I was carrying his seed. I began to resent him deeply with each straw. From the high school sweetheart, randoms, and Lauren, I just knew this man didn't love. He wanted to control me, and I couldn't let that happen. He physically abused me while I was pregnant and after. He even tried to kill me once. Girl, what? I was approaching my last breath, and he finally lit up his latch on my neck. Wow. He's threatened to kill me after I left, and now that I have, I'm honestly terrified, yet relaxed that I got him out of my space. I literally had to get the police involved to get him removed from my home. If you read this far, you're the realist. How did so many of us, not me getting emotional, girl, how did so many of us end up with these psychopath, tyrannical, traumatized, emotionless, and emotionally immature people. If we can call them people. How the frig are so many people's stories the same? The person that emailed me before was talking about, realistically, the same thing that you were just talking to me about. And I was expressing how important it is to leave that trail. Call the police on these people. Call the police. Like, report the incident. You don't even have to, the police don't have to show up to your house. The police never came to my house, baby. I went to the station. I wrote a long, nasty statement. Okay? Like, I didn't want the police to come to my house. I didn't. I am embarrassed to have the police show up. This is the suburbs, okay? I don't want the police showing up here. It's ghetto, okay? I don't want the police showing up here. I was so embarrassed. No. And to be quite honest, I'm being silly because there's nothing to be embarrassed about. But I think it's so hard as Black people to even call the police. Like, literally, when I had my interview with the detective after leaving my statement, it was probably like a week later, I think, or two, the officer had asked me, is there a reason you didn't, come forth before now? And I literally sat across from this Caucasian man and I said to him, yes, there's many reasons why. And one of the main ones is that I'm Black and I don't feel comfortable calling the police. And it's so crazy because when you are in an abusive relationship, you have so much love for the person. And if they played on your empathy when they first arrived in your life, and I say arrive because every arrival has a departure, okay? Every flight in, has a flight out. And so when they first arrive, if they played on your emotions, if they came in telling you about their abandonment, about their mistreatment and how unloved they were as a child, and you try to do that, you try to love them, have them experience that kind of love, or the love that they missed out on, and you're doing it just because that's who you are a lover, and then you encounter these people that play on that, and when they start to cause that same trouble they've been causing their whole life, and they start wreaking havoc on your life, you're hesitant to call the police because you know that you don't want to see them that way. You don't want to see them in a negative light. You don't want to see them in an unhealthy situation. You don't want, your MO is not ever to hurt that person. But because you do so much protecting of them while you're in the relationship, once you are fed up of the mistreatment, sometimes, not even sometimes, all the time, once you're over it, you stop putting them before yourself. And that's why there's such a shift there. And that's why they get so offended, because you've spent so much time and they're comfortable with you putting them and their feelings before your own, always looking past stuff, always ignoring the red flags, always accepting them flaws and all. If somebody is just flawed and they don't have a balance there, you can't really do much with that. It's heavy, and it's not your cross to bear or my cross to bear. It's nobody's cross to bear but the person that is flawed. But flawed people tend to accuse everybody else of their problems and say, this is why I'm this way, versus rising above it and doing something about it, just looking for excuses to live in that, like I said in the first story, misery. Misery loves company. And when you decide you're not going to be the company for the misery anymore, all hell will break loose. That is a natural part of it. But I'm so frustrated with the state of the men and some women. I'm so frustrated with it because keep your toxic tomfoolery to yourself. Like, why do you have to try to drag somebody else down because you're low? Like, go to therapy, figure that ish out. Why you gotta drag innocent bystanders down with you? Why can't they just leave us alone? Like, why do they have to do this? Like, it's so sad. And then they do more damage on top of that, like way more damage, you know? And then there's just a society of a bunch of damaged people running around and wreaking havoc on the next damn victim. And it's not right. It's not fair. Like, if you go back to, like, I don't know, 2017, 18, I don't know. I have always stated and mentioned that if my relationship with my ex would ever end or should ever end, after having kids, that I wouldn't date until my kids were like grown, like 18. Like, I will literally stay single for 18 years. And I don't mean like I won't go on a date and have a nice little meal. I don't mean like I won't talk to people. I just mean like I wouldn't get into a serious relationship, because obviously over time with a serious relationship, they meet your kids, and I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that. So I will likely be single for a long time, but like that's also partially because I'm actually very, very traumatized from my previous relationship. And as much as I can identify the red flags easier now, I don't know all the red flags there are to ever know. I don't know. And as much as I have boundaries in place now, one of my boundaries is that I'm not a free agent. I am not a free agent. I am not out here. So I feel like there's so much healing still that I have to do. And I'm always going to be open to healing. Like, healing is my top priority. I could never, ever, ever just jump into anything with anyone. I mean, I'm not opposed to getting my back blown out, you know. But like literally, like I would never introduce anybody to my kids. Anyway, I'm actually just really fed up with hearing these types of stories. I love that everybody is not afraid anymore to use their voice. I love that people are using me as a stepping stone to using their voice, as an example. I'm totally okay with that. And I appreciate you guys being vulnerable with me and sharing with me the same way I use my platform and share with you. And most of it is not in real time, obviously. But some of it is. And so I pray that you get a restraining order. Because even though it is technically a piece of paper that comes with terms and conditions, it still gives you a lot of peace to know that this person cannot contact me. This person can no longer hurt me in the ways that they used to. They may try to find new ways, but like this person can't contact me in the way that they used to. And it's even a bigger bonus and a plus if you can move. And if you can't move, security cameras, just added measures for levels of safety, because these people just ain't right. Like, they are not wrapped too tight. They are more than 2 or 3 screws loose. Like, I don't need people to get together, because we the women are tired, okay? We are tired. Like, and one other thing I'm perplexed about is why Lauren is over here chasing this young man, unless he's lying to you about his age, because that's a possibility. But I don't get why Lauren is chasing this young man when he... Oh wait, is this the same story? Am I lumping the stories in together? Sorry, I'm lumping the last story, and I'm thinking this is the story where the man blacked the lady eye or punched her in the face. Either way, we keep encountering these men that are either narcissistic in nature, full-blown narcissists, or on their way to being narcissists. Like, it's no gray area. It's very black and white. Either they're narcissistic or they're not at this point. And it's scary. And it's not fair because a lot of them are very cunning. Like, you don't see them coming. They're very much giving snake. So I think it's wise to be weary. Also set those boundaries up and get those security measures in place, and whatever you need to do to feel safe, you do that. And not just from him, but from Lauren. Like, she was doing too damn much. I can't believe that this person that you started off telling me about, you know what I find is a reoccurring theme too? The men that are like this, whether they're abusive, physically, emotionally, financially, mentally, whatever the case is on the power and control wheel, these men, 9 times out of 10, will somehow get you out your mama's house. Okay? Because I was up out my mama's house. I saw a tweet yesterday and I commented and I was like, oh, I wish I could be 21 again. Because baby, if I could go back to 21, I would. And I would change some things. But literally, the tweet said, I ain't splitting no bills with no nigga or no rent with no nigga. I was chilling at my mama's house before you came up and told me to come and live with you. And my situation wasn't exactly like that, but they're pretty much the same. I was chilling at my mom's house, not paying nan rent, okay? I was living for free $3.99. I mean, I gave her some money. I had a job, so I would give her my mom money every once in a while. But like, she wasn't requiring me to pay half of her rent or quarter of her rent. I was living there for free $3.99, minding my damn business. This man comes in and my mom's like, he can't stay here. You got to go, okay? And my dumb ass was like, oh, I guess it's time to move out. Like, what? What? And then I end up paying rent? Oh no, life was hard, baby girl, because I couldn't respect rules. I thought I was grown. No. Now I'm paying rent because I want to be stupid. Like, no. These men will always find some way to get you out trick you out your spot, okay? It's giving female rapper, and I don't like it. I don't. Anyway, next email. Hey Bo, longtime viewer here. I guess I'll start out by saying that I want to stay anonymous. Anyway, I want to get your opinion on my current conundrum. Why, yes, I will love some. That's not what she says. I'm 25 years old. I guess I can say I'm not like others my age. My life is pretty boring. My life is pretty boring too, and I'm 30. I should be living my best life. My life is very boring, but I love it. Like, I love the boring life. Who's this? Hello? I've never been in a serious relationship. All the relationships I've had in the past have been pretty short. Not purposely, just didn't work out. I'm at a point in my life where I have super high standards in terms of finding the person I love, and I'm aware of that. The problems I have with most people are they either want sex only and only that, or they want to be in a relationship, but they cross my boundaries and are extra clingy. I can't find anyone who's a happy medium. I've been single mostly, and honestly, I love the freedom that comes with it. I can do whatever I want. Period. Period. Like, oh, singlehood is so underrated. I swear to God. I don't have to worry about anyone else. At the same time, I'm a hopeless romantic. I want to, at the end of the day, share my life with someone and find my best friend in life. With that being said, I know love comes with sacrifice and compromise. You know what's so funny? Me and my mom were talking about this word just last night, chat, and I'm doing a whole video on it. And that's something I'm not willing to give up. I see all the relationships around me, and they're just filled with toxicity. I've seen jealousy, addiction, betrayal, abuse, and so much more. I swore to myself I will not deal with any toxicity in my relationships. I realize nobody is perfect, but I guess that's just my expectations at this point. I refuse to indulge in one-night stands, hookups, or friends with benefits. No judgment on those who do, just not my thing. And that's totally cool. People around me tell me I should just wait until I find the one, or they tell me to just lower my standards a bit. No.
Get it straight. Sit down, because you got the question wrong. Sit down. Sit down.
Absolutely the frig not on my watch. Lower what standards for who and why? Baby, they're called standards for a reason. They stand, baby. And they go keep standing. They shall not be moved. Lower the standards. Why would you ever lower your standards? And so to me, lowering your standards is lowering or removing your boundaries. That is not something you should ever do. I've learned it. I'm big 30 now, big 30. Okay? I will not engage in such buffoonery. Lower the standard. Maybe the only thing I'm gonna be lowering is my blinds to go to sleep at night, okay? I don't lower standards. Never again in my life will I lower my standards because it will never get you anywhere. I promise you right now. If y'all don't take nothing else from me, you shall not lower your standards. This is the 11th commandment, girl. Not me adding stuff to the Bible. Lord, please don't straight me down. Don't do it. Your friends are not your friends if they're telling you to lower your standards. I'm just saying. Honestly, being single feels really nice, and waiting until the right one comes along seems like the right answer. However, at the same time, I don't want to be 50 years old one day and realize how much time I wasted not having any kind of romantic love in my life. I'm rambling at this point, so I'll stop it there. What's your opinion on that? Sorry, I'll tell you why I'm laughing in a second. I would love for your response. Love you, Bo, and I hope you and your family are prospering. Thanks in advance. Love you and your content you put out. Love you too. You're so sweet, and I'm laughing because these days, when I'm giving advice, I feel absolutely ridiculously biased, and I don't believe that I'm biased. That could be because I'm in denial, the same denial as my father's in. But like, I feel like my advice these days have been biased because I'm obviously coming out of something that was long-winded, long overdue. I'm coming out of something that was painful. I'm coming out of something that was the complete opposite of what I ever thought my life would be, like something I tried to avoid with at all costs. So when it comes to like being single, baby, I don't know that I would be opposed to being single forever. I know people think that it's lonely, but I don't think that it is. I love being with myself. After spending 10 damn years with somebody, I need 10 damn years to myself, baby. Catch me at 40. These niggas can catch me at 40. They not catching me at no 30. I'm in my prime. Like, I think it's just unfathomable to tie yourself down to somebody after just having tied yourself down to somebody. I just untied myself from somebody. What the hell I look like tying myself to somebody else? Am I crazy? Like, what? No, ma'am. It's not happening. So that's why I say I feel like my opinions are biased because I'm loving singlehood. But I understand that one, we're not the same age. We're not walking the same walk. We ain't got the same story. You know, you weren't just in a 10-year relationship. So maybe you're tired of being single, and that's okay too. However, where boundaries and standards are concerned, when I was in my 20s, my boundaries were not set in stone. I didn't know what my boundaries were or what they should be, or I thought I did, but for whatever reason, I kept moving them. I kept moving the bar, and then the bar eventually disintegrated, okay, into the fiery pits of hell, and there was no bar. Because that's what happens when you adjust your standards and you allow somebody to cross boundaries and you just, you know, take it on the chin and blah, 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 blah. So if you're single now and you want that companionship, but you are finding that every time you date people, they cross those boundaries, I think you're doing a great job. I think you're doing an extremely great job at protecting your peace because yes, you want that stability and you want that relationship, but at what cost? If it's gonna cost me anything, baby, I need the relationship for free $99. Because it should be easy breezy, beautiful like CoverGirl. It should not be costing me much, especially not my sanity, not my peace of mind. And it damn sure shouldn't cost me a red damn cent. And because of my lowering of standards, because of my boundary moving and pushing and disintegrating bars, it cost me my peace of mind, my peace in general. It cost me my sanity. It cost me a whole lot of money. So if I'm biased, I'm biased. Singlehood is great. And it looks great on a lot of people. You know how nice it is to go to bed at night and not have to worry about where your significant other is, if they're out doing what they're not supposed to do, if no, I got literally the Snorlax, okay? Snoring. sleeping good. Like, I can't, it's giving melatonin. Like, what? Don't trade those things in because it's gonna cost you something. When you lower your standard, it costs something and it's coming out of your pocket. Like for me, I'm not a hopeless romantic. I love a good romance, okay? But I'm not a hopeless romantic, like, and I'm not a relationship girl. Like, I'm not gonna jump from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship. I need some me time, okay? Because nobody gets me but Jesus. Nobody gets me but God and myself, okay? And maybe my mom. Like, nobody actually gets me, you know? And I don't like to explain myself. I like to just do what I want to do when I want to do it. Unfortunately, when you're in a relationship, communication has to happen. And I think too, if you are a communicator and you are somebody that sets boundaries, I'm not going to say your person's not out there. Because to me, like the person that you're describing that you want, I feel like I'm like that. Like, I feel like that's me. I'm not trying to get with you, Chad. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that those people exist. Like, I exist. I know there, and you exist, right? And you like boundaries, and I like boundaries. And so to me, those people that are for you are out there. It's just a matter of when you encounter them. But also, not everybody's meant for you to be in a relationship with. Some people are just your friends, you know? But like, it's a tough situation to be in when you want that companionship, but you also want to stick to your singlehood because your standards are what they are. Yesterday's price is not today's price, or today's price is not yesterday's price. No, I think I said it the right way the first time. Either way, you shouldn't have to adjust those things. Whoever is out there for you that is on that same wavelength thinking, you know, you will encounter them when the time is right. The timing could just be off. Trust me, you don't want a relationship that's just falling into your lap, okay? You don't want it. But I totally get your position because just last night, I was talking to my mom and saying that I can't see myself committed to any person in particular. But I still have that desire that itches me sometimes, that I'm like, I wish I had somebody to like text. You know what I mean? Somebody to check in on me that's not a friend, you know, like an actual somebody that I have interest in, but like not want to go too far. But I also don't want to waste anybody's time because I know I'm not committing. And the only thing I'm going to be committed to is a damn psych ward. Now they cut off right when I said psych ward, child. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because if another person tries to cross a boundary with me, I'm going to lose it. So I don't even have the space or capacity to open myself up like that relationship wise right now. Like, it's too soon. It's so soon and no ma'am. But like, I get your position why you would want to be in a relationship or have the desire to be in a relationship, because relationships are fun. It is so fun to have somebody to do stuff with and get your back blown out at the end of the night. Like, that's really fun. It's fun to go out to eat. It's fun to have a drink. It's fun to do a lot of things with your significant other. So I get it. Like, I get why you have that desire, but at the same time, that should not come at the cost of lowering your standards just to have that. Unless you just want it temporarily. Unless you just want it for fun, which you stated that's not what you're in it for. You are in it for the long game. You want something real and something healthy, and you deserve that. And I think that the more you focus on yourself, the easier that person can find you, or you can find them, you know? Yeah. I said a whole lot, but the mic turned off on me because the battery was dying and I wasn't paying attention. So I actually had a lot more advice to give, but it's gone, okay? The facts are the facts. We're not lowering our standards in 2023, and we're not adjusting bars in 2023. If you don't meet the height requirement, you can't get on this ride. Like, you can't get on the ride, sweetheart. The height and the weight requirement. It's not given that for you. So you're gonna have to sit this one out. So I'm with you on both sides. Like, I totally get wanting the relationship, but also loving being single. Like, it's such a weird place to be in. But I feel like if you're not miserable single, then there's no urge or rush to be in a relationship. And even if you are miserable single, stay single. Because you don't need to bring, misery loves company. And you don't need to bring your misery over to somebody else trying to drag them down to be miserable too. That's not fair. Like, that is absolutely not fair. And it's the same with like trust issues and issues of any kind from the previous relationship trickling on into the new relationship. That's not cool. Work on yourself. Love on yourself. Be with yourself. People are so scared to be alone and by themselves. You can, if you're scared to be by yourself and with yourself, you are the problem. You are the problem. Okay? Better if you are aware that you're the problem. Are you the drama? If you know that you're the drama, keep the drama to yourself until you know how to not be the drama. It's really simple. It's simple maths, okay? 2 + 2 is 4. -1, that's 3. Quick maths. It's really that. So there's no need to bring yourself if you know you still have healing to do. And there's also no need to rush into a relationship if you know you're coming with your standards and your boundaries and they're healthy and they're good and they work for you. I promise you there's somebody else out there with them same boundaries that they don't want crossed and same standards as high as yours. And they're going to hold you to that and expect you to stay there. Because a lot of the time we get tricked, we get spooked and nervous when we find out that it was all a lie. When we find out that the standard that we had somebody at wasn't even real. They was standing on a block of phone books. Girl. And they every day they ripped out 1 or 2 pages from the phone book and they got shorter and shorter. And they couldn't maintain the level that they came in hot at. Okay? People are jumping into relationships. People are making the wrong moves too soon. You're not giving things time to season and marinate. Y'all just out here all willy-nilly. I like whoever just wrote in. I like this person. Shout out to them because they got it all the way together. Like literally, they got it all the way together. They just want somebody to love on them. All right, so the last one, which I also already read from top to bottom. So I'm probably just gonna, sister girl, I'm gonna have to skip through some of the stuff. Okay, I'm gonna get to the main points because I already read this and the microphone was off. Hi, Bo. I've been watching you since way back in the day before the birth of your beautiful babies. I would mainly love a reply on your opinion about the situation, but if you'd like to include it in a video, you're welcome to do so as well. So funny because when I read this the first time on camera, I said, I can't read it twice, girl. As in, I can't read it later on today and reply to it because I ain't got enough hours. The earth is spinning too fast around the sun. It needs to stop. Where's the sun? Trips around the sun. Yes. So it's spinning too fast, okay? It's damn near time to pick up Say from school. Like, this is too much. Anyway, this will be a bit long, but I appreciate the advice. I have been dating this guy on and off for 6 years. I am currently 22. This is a problem. 6 years on and off is wild, okay? Wild. I would say sort of like a high school sweetheart type deal. Now, keep in mind, when I began dating him as a teen, my mother would warn me that I'm too young to tie myself down, and she ain't never lied, period. I thought I found my Prince Charming. I was showered with gifts, beautiful dates, the works over the years. Around the 3-year mark, I went away to college. Up until that point, I found myself as someone who was emotionally supporting my partner through a tough point in his life. His mother had been battling cancer. So he was going to and from the hospital, picking up younger siblings, etc. While I was away, we were still together, and he managed to juggle his home life and driving to see me on the weekends. Fast forward a few months into my freshman year, and his mother lost her battle. We were both heartbroken, and I did my best to be there for him. Fast forward to the end of my freshman year at college, I found out about a friendship with a girl that I felt was inappropriate. So much so that I essentially gave him an ultimatum. Ultimatums? No. Okay? No ultimatums in 2023. Y'all can get your last few ultimatums out for the rest of this year, but starting in 2023, there will be no ultimatums, okay? And if you can help it, girl, don't even give them out for the rest of the year. This ain't a share bag of M&Ms. Like, No more ultimatums, please. And told him he needed to cut it off. He refused, and that truly hurt me. He insisted that there was nothing going on and that she was just a close friend that he met during college and that she was there for him during the time his mother passed. To me, it was a slap in the face. I felt as though I was someone that gave my all for so long to this person, and because he had people simply texting to see how he was doing during that time, that they somehow were more valuable than me.
Did you send flowers when my father died?
I want you to ask yourself if you feel like you're reading a little bit too much into that, because losing your parent is not no easy or no small feat. That's a big deal in people's lives when they lose a parent. And if you haven't lost a parent or anybody super close to you or important to you, I don't think you can necessarily relate. Even if you can, show empathy and sympathy towards them, you can't necessarily relate to what it feels like to lose a parent. And so maybe on the days that you were away at college and he was dealing with that, he found a friend in this girl. Now, I understand why you would feel some type of way about it, but for him to just cut her off because you said so, if he's claiming, there's nothing between them and blah, 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 then you should just respect that because it's his friend, because you wouldn't feel that way if it were a male. Unless you saw something that was inappropriate in the phone. That's a completely different story. If anyone deserved the best from him, I felt it should be me. At that point, I was done and I was over it. I left him and began talking to someone else. However, after him threatening to unalive himself, these men are tired, sick, delusional, and stupid. Manipulation. Claiming thought of losing both his mother and myself was a lot for him. No, I got back with him. So his manipulation worked. I was intimate with the young man I had been talking to, so that shattered him. Though we weren't together, he felt as though I cheated on him, which he will hold over your head, and then we're gonna do the song and dance where he's insecure in the relationship and he's blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. We don't have time for it, ma'am. Okay? Especially because he manipulated you back into a relationship with him. Where did they do this at? Anyway. Eventually, we moved past the situation, but over the years, the issue of friendships came up time and time again. As a Cancer, I felt he was always so consumed and wanted to be friend of the year to the point where he pushed my feelings to the side. And I promise you, this isn't from the perspective of being jealous or anything like that. He would constantly have this argument with me, and he would take his own alleged steps to diffuse or make situations better. Fast forward to this year, and I've graduated college. I've gotten a great salary paying job, and I can't help but think where our future is going. His journey led him to having to drop out of college a few years ago, and currently he has been unemployed for months, is essentially broke, and hasn't shown any signs of wanting to better himself, just plays his video games all day long. Ma'am, did you come here to trigger me? After all we've been through, I do feel every day is difficult because he does have trust issues, and I do believe he is a bit jealous of my success, even though he won't admit it. And that's a problem. Men, women, friends, family members that are jealous or envious of your success in any way cannot be around you, okay? Because those are the same people that are secretly praying and waiting on your downfall. Those are the people that are going to try to belittle your job. Y'all know I went through it now, okay? So a man, your partner, should be uplifting you and encouraging you in your success, in your work. Just because you can't get your ish together and get up off the couch and stop playing these damn video games and get a job and earn an income, that don't mean that you get to try to pull me down to whatever level you're at. Because I can love you through depression. I can love you through stupidity. I can love you through ignorance. I can love you through a whole lot of. But what I'm not able to do in this season is coddle. I'm not able to do in this season is be disrespected in any way. So if somebody is jealous of your success, and you feel that from them because their energy is off, you need to remove them. Somehow, no matter what I've tried, I haven't been able to completely leave. Every time I try to leave, something keeps pulling me back, telling me I need you in my life. Every time I try to go, something keeps telling me that everything gonna be all right. It's a lie from the pits of hell. It's a lie.
It was all a lie.
Okay, and that's coming from the toxic king, oh no, that's not Tyrese, that's Chingy. Never mind, sorry Tyrese. How Tyrese get in it? Is it it is Tyrese. Of course, toxic king right there. Oh my gosh. I feel like I owe him so much and I care so deeply for his well-being. My question is if I'm wrong for considering leaving. Sometimes I feel like there is way too much hurt between the two of us that we'll never be able to recover from. Sweetheart, how do you owe somebody something if you did not birth them? I need an answer here. We don't owe anybody anything. You know who you owe something to? Yourself. You owe yourself peace. You owe yourself wit. You owe yourself everything. You owe everything to yourself and to God. You do not owe somebody that you're dating anything. Unless you borrowed $10,000 from him, which I know you didn't because you said he is broke. You don't owe him anything. You are feeling guilty and obligated to stay with him because he lost his mom. That is not your cross to bear. Can you offer your condolences? Can you support him? Can you be a friend? Of course you can. But what you cannot do is feel like you owe this man anything. What did you owe him? What could you possibly owe him? What, he traveled to drive to see you in college, even though his mom was in the hospital, so now you feel indebted to him? Is that what I'm picking up on here? Like, is that what I'm gathering? Am I wrong? Like, what could you possibly owe somebody that you did not give birth to? I owe my kids something. I owe my kids a nice life because I brought them here. I can't bring them here and not give them a good life. So that's who I owe something to. But if I ain't birthed you, I don't owe you nothing. I don't owe no man nothing. I don't owe no parent nothing. Okay, I don't owe my mom or my dad anything, okay? Let's sip on that, okay? I don't owe my parents anything. Now, my mama, she gonna get it because, bae. But my father, I don't even owe him a conversation. I wouldn't even poop on him. Like, please, what are you saying to me? You don't owe him anything. Get this mentality gone forever. We are not owing people anything unless you took some money, unless you borrowed a shirt and didn't give it back in the same condition. You don't owe them jack diddly nor squat, okay? Like, this mentality has got to go. We cannot be sat here staying in these relationships because we feel like we owe them that. That was me. This email actually reminds me of me a few years ago because I felt bad, you know, because I felt I was making excuses for behavior or excusing behavior because woe is them. They had a hard life. Okay, so did I. Now what else is going on? In the words of Cynthia Bailey. What else is going on? We all had a hard life. So now what? Where do we go from here? What are you going to give me? Like, I think this mentality has got to die. To think that we owe anybody anything. Like, unless you did me a real solid, I don't owe you anything. Unless you owe me, unless you did me a real solid that, like, I feel like, you know, I'm obligated to do something for you because you really held it down for me. But there's a limit. You can't stay with him forever because for what? And you can't carry the burden either because a lot of the time when people lose their parent mentally, they be going through it, but then they don't get up and get the help they need. All you can do is tell him, hey, look, I think you should get into grief counseling and I think you should get into therapy and even help him get into it if he's open to it. If he's not open to it, you have nothing left to say. You did your part. You told him what he needs, and then you can end the relationship and be like, I have to move on. You telling me that you're going to unalive yourself is not going to keep me here this time. I don't like to hear you say things like that. They bother me, but that is why I am telling you, please get yourself some help because it's hard to watch you all the time doing nothing with your life and not even making a move to try to figure it out. You're throwing yourself a pity party. You need to get up. You can have that pep talk with him and leave. You don't have to stick around because the fact of the matter is he has a lot of healing to do. He is carrying this dark cloud over you because while you broke up with him and you had intended on breaking up with him for good, you were intimate with somebody else. He wasn't feeling that, guilted you back into the relationship, and now is holding it over you. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. It's not like he was the one that was intimate with somebody else and came to you and said he wants to be with you. That's not what happened. You were intimate with somebody else. You put down your ultimatum even before that. And to be honest, there's just some codependency going on here. Like, the relationship should have probably ended a long time ago. But people feel like the longer you're with somebody, the more effort you should put into making it work. Been there, done that. It doesn't work sometimes. Even when both parties are willing. Sometimes it takes some really mature people to both be like, you know what? this ain't it. This is not going anywhere, you know? So pretty much, I think you are right on the ball for wanting to leave and organizing yourself to do so. I think you deserve to leave. I think you owe yourself that. And I really want us, especially as women, to stop feeling obligated to these men because they've had troublesome childhoods. Who hasn't? Who hasn't? We all got a little trauma, girl. We all got a little trauma. And the way you deal with your trauma matters. And these men are not dealing with their traumas. And they're bringing it into the relationship and using it as a catalyst and a tactic to hurt the women that they're with. And it's not okay. And sometimes the men that they're with, it's not okay. Because, see, if we reference the phone call between my father and myself, it's evident that I had daddy issues. I've never been in denial about my daddy issues. I've never denied having them. I always knew that I had daddy issues. I just didn't know the different ways they could present themselves in a relationship with somebody else. And I think that because I was aware of my daddy issues and I was trying to not have daddy issues, I allowed a lot of bull to happen and go on because my daddy issues made my situation feel comfortable, feel like home. Wasn't recognizing certain things because that was my normal. And only looking back do you actually get to pinpoint certain things and see, oh, well, that's why that's like that. And that's why it makes sense. However, I never took my childhood trauma and turned it around to abuse no damn body. Like, that's unheard of, but that's generally what the dominant person or the male in the relationship ends up doing with their childhood trauma, which sucks, you know? But that's just the reality of it. The girls, the women that have narcissistic fathers usually end up with narcissistic partners if that trauma's not been healed. And the males that are born from narcissistic mothers tend to be abusive toward their partners, who usually have daddy issues. Do you see where I'm going with this? Like, it's a big freaking weave and a spider web of things. Like, it's deep, okay? And that's obviously another video for another day. But like, a lot of time, these relationships go on way longer because there's been either like a traumatic event or something that keeps you in the relationship for a little bit longer than you should have been there for. Like in your situation, it's the death of his mother and his mental state that kept you there. But now that you see that that's manipulation, what are you going to do about it? You have to take control and take power back of yourself. You don't need to control him. What he got going on is what he got going on, but you can't feel guilty about it, and you can't be sat there feeling like you owe anybody anything. It's unfortunate that his mother passed, and it's unfortunate that he's not all the way together, but your only job in the situation is to free yourself and to encourage him to get the help he needs. You can still support him at a distance if he will allow you to. If he doesn't, who cares? Because that's not your person. I love you all so much. I gotta go get my child. Blessings to you all. I love you all. If you want to email me for Face the Facts, you can. facingthefactz with a Z at gmail.com. It will be in the description box, probably pinned in the comment section. I love you all, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.